Joe, it's interesting how things, I always believe, Sisney, we talk about this on the show, I always believe that there is a master script to life, and the things that you are presented with are part of the script, and however you proceed is the way you're supposed to proceed. And so, Oprah was going to be on the Live with Kelly and Ryan show, and I got this book, The Wisdom of Sundays, from her. From her office. And I laid down and I started reading it. I read almost the whole thing. And then I get to this one page, and there's this quote that strikes me. And the quote was, you are in control. The truth is, you are in control of only two things: how we prepare for what might happen and how we respond to what just happened. And for an overthinker, that's a great quote.
Yeah. If
you think of stuff through that lens, that's a great quote. And so when she came on the show, I read that quote, and she said, "Oh, it's Devon Franklin." I said, "Well, yeah, this guy's a genius." And here he is. In the flesh. Devon Franklin is here.
Yo, I don't know about being a genius, but I'm grateful to be here, man.
Well, it's such a pleasure to meet you. And as I did my research about you, you've accomplished a lot in your career. You're a writer and a producer, and you're spiritual. What would you say your occupation is?
Well, I'm hoping that my occupation is just being me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But my day-to-day job is producing. That is, basically how I keep the lights on. And then being an author, runs a close second. But I try to, mix it all in, because my goal is to, improve the lives of anyone that I'm coming in contact with through inspiration, hope, and faith. And so with the movies, that's what the movies are designed to do.
And give us some of the big movies, because there's a great list of them.
I just produced Miracles from Heaven with Jennifer Garner and Queen Latifah. I have The Star, which is the first faith-based animated movie.
Oh, my gosh, Gina Rodriguez, I just talked
Gina
about
Rodriguez, yes. Gina, and Oprah's in that, too. Tyler's in it. That comes out November 17th. When I was a studio executive, I worked on films like The Pursuit of Happiness, The Karate Kid, Heaven is for Real.
Wow.
So it was all designed to, make an impact and to use media to have a positive impact. So even though I have multiple things I do, they're all connected by that one through line.
Are you also a pastor?
No, I'm not a pastor. I preach.
I preach.
Yeah, my uncle would call me a bootleg preacher.
A bootleg preacher.
You're an amazing preacher.
Well, thank you.
And do you preach on a regular basis?
I preach on a regular basis all around the country.
So you'll do different places?
Yeah, but I don't have like a home church. My younger brother, David Franklin, is an actual pastor in Baltimore. He has a congregation. He has a church he's responsible to, so that he's a pastor by profession. But for me, I just go around the country, and whenever I get an invitation, I try to honor that and speak as much as I can.
Wow,
there's just an energy about Devon Franklin that I love. So this genius quote that simplifies, it's like I and a lot of people listening, it's like when I close my eyes at night and put my head on the pillow, 1,000 channels of voices start, and I try and slowly put them all to bed. And that's kind of what happens in every moment of my life. Like I'm just hearing a bunch of things are moving all at the same time. And then I looked at your quote, and I was like, you know what? If you live life like that, it kind of simplifies it, brings down anxiety, and allows you to really focus. Where'd that quote come from?
It came actually from my first book. My first book was called Produced by Faith, and it was all about how to enjoy real success without losing your true self. And Oprah read the book, and then she invited me to do an hour of Super Soul Sunday. So part of the book, in the first chapter, I'm using the metaphor of being a movie. So the reader is looking at their life as a movie. And Produced by Faith was broken into two portions. One was development, the other was production. So in the very first chapter, I talk about this concept of how we can look at life. Because in the movie of life, I believe God is our director. And so I wrote that comment to say, listen, our job is one of two things. We have to prepare for what could happen, and then also handle our response, because so often where we miss it is how we respond to what happens in life. And we allow anger, frustration, bitterness, depression to be a response, when it's like, listen, things that happen to us aren't always in our control. God is the director. Why he allows certain things into the scenes of our movie, I don't necessarily know. I'm not God, but I can manage my response to what may happen, whether good or bad. So that's where the concept came from, in helping the reader to look at their life as a movie and look at themselves as the hero of their story.
It's such a great lens to look at life, isn't it?